they really tried their very best, and praise be to God, I was able to finish college. But the context of the relationship of my parents, like I said, is quite extreme. They said before we came up here on stage, they said, you just share like you're sharing with your friends, only with a lot of people watching. So maybe my parents are watching also, so I think they're awesome. No, but seriously, they got separated when I was, as early as I was in grade 4, they already had a lot of fights. And then officially when I was in second year college, they separated houses. But every time I explain it, I always just say it's like a TV sitcom. Because my father chose to live 4 doors away from our house.
Okay.
Not because he has a new family, but because he wants to keep watching over us.
Okay.
Because he has 3 daughters. I have 2 other siblings, sisters, and 1 brother. So it was difficult for me growing up, like that moment when you have to do I have to choose between mama and papa? And then when they officially, quote unquote, separated, there were more struggles. I thought it ended when you live in a house where every day you just, oh, will they fight today? Will they shout at each other today? So when they separated, it was sort of finally, okay, maybe there will be peace. But even after that, there were different struggles. But I guess it helped me a lot in the context of my Christian walk also, because I remember this when I was in high school, a very random moment. On my way to school, I saw a sticker and it says, "Too much idols, Jesus is enough." And from then on, I told myself Jesus will really be my idol for all my life. And so, it's difficult if you have an idol like Jesus who's like perfect. But I realized ever since that day, I decided that I want to be more and more and more like Jesus every day. And if Jesus is love, then every day I encounter more and more difficult circumstances where I will always have to choose to love, because God is love. So going back to my parents, every time they do something that's, oh, why did they do that? Oh, why did my father do that? I'd always go back to, okay, love like Jesus, love like Jesus. So even if, like I said, I'm the extreme case, my parents don't go to the feast, but I continue to pray for them, and I continue to believe that God is working in our family, and that we are all a work in progress. Not just my parents, but including me. So there, it's a long roller coaster ride with my parents, and up to now we continue to struggle with a lot of things. But like I said, I always go back to that. Every day I am just confronted with that choice. Will you choose to love again? Will you choose to love again? Will you choose to love again? So yeah.
You know, Gretch, same with Jewel, the reason why we brought you here is, you've got 2 different backgrounds. You've got here Jewel, their parents are, I know your parents, they're amazing, they homeschool Jewel, and then they have this confidence in you. Hey, you don't have to go to school, do what you want to do. And she's an accomplished businesswoman now, and artist and so on, and missionary. Your background is so different. Separated, and you're praying for them, so many struggles, and here you are serving Jesus. And Gretch, want you to know, the young people I meet who know you, they look up. They say, she is our mama. They look up at you. You have so much love for them, and that can only be because of the miracle of Jesus in your life.
I really pray that would be my life testimony, that not all people who come from broken families have to live a broken life. Because God's grace is always available. A lot of people ask me about that, like, how did you become this way? Like, I know a lot of kids who are raised up in a broken home, and they would jump from one relationship to another, and I'd say, that's my problem, I have no relationship to jump to. But that's another story. So anyway, so I was always asked that question, how how come you're able to like find the feast and even serve the Lord and speak in front? And I think it's really God's grace that I don't know how to answer that. Because if I would say, oh, it's because I really made the choice to never be like my parents, I have no answer like that. I can't really explain it. It's just that when I look back, this is the beauty of God's grace for me, is that when I look back, wherever I went, God will always send me parents, spiritual parents who would parent me. When I was in high school, I have this teacher, my English teacher. Every week she asks us to write a journal about how our week was so that our English speaking and writing skills will be exercised. And it was that time, when I was in high school, that was the peak of all the struggles of my parents. Every night crying, going to the police, having to speak to the judges and all those things. So I would write and it should always respond, like, Anak, it's okay, this is how it is. Then we became, like, even outside of school, she became a counselor. So up to now, I continue to call her Mommy Lee. And then when I went to the feast, of course, I found Brother Obed and Sister Joy Gabrielias, Mommy Joy and Daddy Obed. And of course, we all know how their love heals. God's love through them heals. So when I was in high school, when I was at work, when I here in the community, I have Daddy Pat, I have Mommy Joey, Mommy Joy, Daddy Obed. So God will always send me parents who would give me, like, it doesn't have to be that way. You can look at Brother Obed, you can look at Sister Joy, all the things that I've been longing for to see in my parents. God has always shown me those things in ways that are beyond description. So God has always been following me. I believe He must really have a plan for my life.
And I want you to understand this, that around you there might be another Gretch. Maybe wherever you're working, or at the feast that you're attending, just be sensitive to the Holy Spirit. There might be another Gretch there that needs to be reparented, that you need to reparent. Maybe that person is longing for another, person to look up to, and you can do that. You can just ask the Holy Spirit to work in your life. So thank you, Mama Gretch, Mama Jewel. That's how young people call them, by the way. And yes, Anton, tell us.